Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, Zebec Army, Zebec family, you guys have been absolutely killing it with the likes, with the views, the comments, the positivity, the everything. You guys are absolutely amazing. So shout out to you guys. Make sure to pat yourself in the back because you guys are awesome. And that is just the truth. You know what else is awesome though? This freaking crypto. I am so happy I discovered this thing a couple of months ago before the big pump. When we go back, we saw the structure and we're like, you know what? We know this thing is about to start pumping. Anything that goes sideways for a very, very long time and it starts showing signs of momentum, you know, it's just a matter of time. It's not even a matter if it's gonna happen, it's just a matter of time when it's gonna happen. And you know what? We researched the crypto heavily. We saw the, technical analysis, and I was like, I can't believe I'm only finding it out about this gem right now. And it's one of the best decisions this cycle I have done. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, right now, when we look at the technical analysis, we can see we kind of have a doji type candle, which pretty much indicates indecision and low momentum. Okay. Usually it does mean a little bit of a reversal or sometimes a big reversal, but context is very important when it comes to crypto. Now, even if we do start reversing a little bit, I don't expect anything crazy. I do not expect any downwards movement, let's just say from 0.0053 to something like 0.0035. I don't expect massive, massive fundamental pullbacks because it just wouldn't make the most sense with the amount of context we have. This project has been extremely bullish. The price action has been extremely bullish, and there's no other way to put it, right? The demand has been bullish. When we go to something like Zebec right over here, we can see we are rank 132 in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, out of all the verified cryptos, there's 9,455 active cryptos, and we are practically in the top 2% or even less. You know, that's really good. Okay, that is really good. Not many cryptos get to not only get to this point, but even stay at this point. And we know there's so much more upside potential. We are currently ranked 474 million market cap, 22 million volume in the last 24 hours. And guys, we are continuously starting to grow and grow or continue. Yeah, we are continuously growing. We can see, at the time of the recording, this is at 12:13 a.m. So even just in this 13 minutes, we've gone up 30 something holders, 40 holders, which is crazy. Unless the time zone is different for this, which may be by 3 hours, but still, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. We are consistently growing 150 to 200 holders a day. The demand for this project is high. The upside for this project is extremely high. Look, we're not even listed on the two biggest exchanges. Is there Kraken even here? Am I tripping? Kraken's not even here. Something like Kraken is not even here. Is crypto.com? No, crypto.com is here. But there's so many like S tier exchanges that we're not listed on. There's so many A tier exchanges. I'm sure there's so many B tier. I mean, guys, there's only literally five. There's only 5 pages. There's only 5 pages. So, the upside is insane. Okay. The project is insane. The technical analysis is super insane and aggressive. And it is looking good. In terms of yesterday, this is one of those things where Zebec is in a deciding point. We are, closing very, very funny. We can see that even if we don't have to go all the way back here, but we can see as of July 29th, we had this top over here. We had this bottom over here on the 31st. Now, the top is the blue, the bottom is the black, right? All right, we can see we had a top again. Boom, right? We had a higher top, which is good. And then now we had a higher bottom on August 4th, right? So we can see clearly a kind of staircase going to the upside if you just kind of imagine it, right? Looking very, very healthy. And then we can see that we did have a sell candle on the 7th. So we have this zone. But then we can see when we pumped on the 8th, we actually did close lower than on the 6th, which is like, okay, well, it could be a little bit of a pullback. But then again, on the 9th, we actually closed higher than we did on the 7th. So we're getting squished. We are getting squished, which ultimately means we have to make a choice. Are we going to burst to the upside or are we going to go to the downside? Now, I think if we do go to the downside, it's going to be very short lived. Okay. I think it's going to be a fake out max 1 to 3 days, and then you're going to start seeing aggressive movement. As of right now, there are no confirmations for either. Okay. We have a top, we have the bottom, we have a lower top, we have a higher bottom, we have another higher bottom, we have a lower top, and we have a higher bottom. So nothing bursted, right? Nothing officially bursted just yet. Now, I did say on the weekly, right, this is usually a reversal type of candle. Now, even if we do see a little bit of a sell off, it's most likely going to be something like May, where we had a little bit of a sell candle, then we kind of had like this doji. I mean, this one's not even technically a doji, but we kind of had this fake out, and then the next week it bursted. So there's two things going to play out. Next week, we're going to have a beautiful upside candle, right? Or we're going to have a fake out week where we just kind of go down and then most likely just kind of linger around sideways, slowly going up. And then the week after that, we're going to prepare for big pumps. But ultimately, I do believe the game plan is to attack these all time highs. I really do believe no matter what it is, right? And I'm not saying no matter what happens the next 2 or 3 months, because obviously that anyone can say that. But I mean, over the next 2 weeks, I do believe no matter what happens, we are attacking the 0.007. Okay, I believe we're looking to reclaim territory. Now, is there going to most likely be a little bit of a sell off when we go to there? Yes, if we burst instantly. If we burst instantly, then I would not be surprised if we do kind of chop this way, right? If we kind of just chop this way and then prepare to blast off. If we have a pullback first initially, then when we do start recovering, I do think, right, any type of resistance here will be kind of short lived, and then we'll see continuations. So it's good either way, right? It's good either way. We either quote unquote suffer in the short term with a little bit of a fake pullback to just attack the all time highs and then kind of go aggressively quicker, or we kind of get there first and then we slow down, go sideways a little bit, and then burst up, right? Something very, very similar to what happened to from early May to, let's just say, mid to late May, right? Where we kind of go back, we contest the all-time highs, we kind of sell off, but also kind of go sideways before we burst up, right? It doesn't really matter how it plays out in the end, because I ultimately believe those are the two scenarios. I would be really, really surprised if, like I said earlier, if we did look to just kind of sell and pull back further, it wouldn't really make sense with the context of the market, right? Or even if we did something like this and then we went really far down again to then go up, right? It wouldn't really make sense with the context of the market. We see something like Bitcoin really looking good, right? It is technically this, well, I guess it's Sunday candle, but you can see, look, it's looking really good, really aggressive, right? We filled up the gap and we're already back above this huge, nice Bitcoin support. We could also see something like Bitcoin dominance. It is struggling and holding on for dear life, right? In this massive main zone. So, look, man, even if Bitcoin dominance starts going back up and it's just a fake out, Bitcoin's going to be going up, right? And if Bitcoin dominance starts dropping and Bitcoin goes up, that means there's a lot more money in the cycle, or right, a lot more money coming in, and it doesn't really matter in the end. Okay. Ultimately, I do believe we are going to be bullish no matter what. This is going to start the transition we're going to start having in the markets, I should say, is going to be kind of from, you know, worries up and down, this and this, to kind of consistently happy, consistently safe. That's kind of the transition we're going to start heading to over the next few short weeks. We also do know that there's a very high, like 95% chance rate cuts happen early September, which that could be the signal for everything starting to burst. Okay. So, overall, you should be expecting very, very bullish news over the next, few short months, let's say. I will still report on days where I think it's going to sell back a little bit or go sideways, right? Because it's not going to be just green, 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 green. You're going to experience green, 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 green when the official altcoin season happens, where your coin pumps for roughly 4 weeks, right? You're going to be seeing insane gains you've never seen. You're going to be seeing insane pumps. And eventually, you got to remember, once we start getting to the top, right? Let's say something like Zebec network already has gone up 10x from that point. Let's just say we're using easy numbers. Let's say we're at 5 billion market cap, right? We're at 5 billion market cap. Whatever amount of money you have now is up 10x. Okay. When we get even a 10% day in that context, that 10% day on a 5 billion market cap is a lot. That's like the same equivalent of us doubling right now. So yeah, if you had $10,000 right now and we doubled, it's 20,000, right? If you ladies and gentlemen, 10x and then you go up 10% on that day, that's 10,000, right? So, those gains of even 5, 10, 15% once we start getting closer to the top are going to hit like a truck in terms of the profit returns, because we saw the vision early, we got in early, we weren't just here for the hype. We were here learning, we were here getting educated, we were here taking the risk when the whole world was sleeping. And yeah, there will be losers. There are people that come in right at the end and they're going to lose and they're going to call crypto a scam. But you know what? That's how life is, right? Business is always competition. Crypto's competition. Life is competition. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, well, this person has interest in this girl and you also have interest in this girl. Well, that's competition, right? Life is just competition. There's no other way to say it, right? You snooze, you lose. But luckily for the viewers, the people that are listening and watching right now, you guys will be winners as long as you click sell, right? It doesn't matter how amazing a project is, right? And we'll get to this when the time comes. Well, we'll make sure to cover everything, but it doesn't matter how amazing a project is. If you don't click sell and you don't cash out at the end of the cycle, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you bought early, right? It does not matter. Remember, people, you're here to make money. You're not here to marry a project. All right. Marry your partner, marry your soulmate. The project is here to get you, you know, looking and chilling nice. Anyways, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.